Hey everyone, welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I'm Chad here with Santino.
What's going on, Chad? How are you, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Life's crazy, but we're going good. You?
Yeah, powering through it.
So, this week we are here with Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, Dream Warriors and the Dream Master. So let's go with the one that is debatable among fans. If it's better than the original, Dream Warriors. Where do you fall, Santino? Better than the original or no?
Okay, I am gonna be honest here. The first one is better, but I have a more fun time watching number three
Mm-hmm.
because number three is awesome. I love it.
And it's funny. I see a lot of people like. I want to see where you land on this one. I see a ton of people be like, "Oh, Kristen is like the coolest character ever. Patricia Arquette's awesome." I'm like, she's barely a character in this. Like,
Yeah,
what is like honestly, what is Kristen's character? She doesn't have a character. This is Nancy's movie, 100%.
Nancy Thompson was awesome in this movie.
Like this is fully Nancy's sequel that she deserved, and
I love.
it was awesome seeing her come back.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I never got around to watching any of the trailers for it, but imagine if none of the trailers showed her. Imagine how much you would have shit yourself seeing her suddenly show up in the movie and be like, "Oh my god, this is her second movie now."
Yeah, I know. I know.
So,
Cool.
what are some of the big positives of this film to
Okay,
you?
I'm gonna share with you an experience of mine. Just a real quick, because I have to put this out there. I'm gonna share with you an experience of mine that that I just realized only after watching this movie. So, believe it or not, I actually saw a bit of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 when I was like 4 years old.
Oh,
And I just remembered it. I remembered that scene because it was so scary in my mind that when I just put it at the back of my mind, when I saw it appear here, I was like, holy shit, it's from this movie? It was a
what scene
scene of
was it?
the goth chick dying, where there was
Oh,
holes in her skin and
I
Freddy.
felt the way. Okay, I would like out of most of the horror movies, I want to say there's very few where I see characters die that I'm like, that's just not fair, and I feel absolutely horrible for that character when they go. Taryn is one of the few who definitely I just feel awful for this poor girl the way she was killed.
Yeah, dude, because I saw it when I was 4 years old. I saw Freddy injecting needles into her holes. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I changed the channel. And I remember exactly where I was. I was in my grandparents' house, and they have this room with like at that time it was like I was like 4 years old, so the TV wasn't flat screen. It was like the TV with the box still attached at the back of it,
Mm-hmm.
like how old TVs would do it. And I swear, when I saw that, I changed the channel, but I can remember how it was ingrained in my head.
Oh damn! So this movie's been with you since the beginning.
That scene was like,
Freddy has been with you since you were a child. How does that make you feel?
this is like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, this is where it's from. I didn't even know it was Nightmare on Elm Street until I saw the entire movie. And I was like,
Oh,
wait,
that's
that alleyway looks familiar. And I was like, oh my god, it's this movie.
you're like now I know where my nightmares come from.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh wow, that is cool. Whoever would have thought that?
yeah. I know, right? I know. And it was happened to be the worst death of like the entire movie that I witnessed.
Even more than that poor cripple kid
Yeah, even more
who
than
was excited he could finally walk just to get impaled and thrown on the ground.
yeah, even that. Because I hate needles and getting hit with like 10 of them at once is like, oh wow.
Yeah, pretty savage way to go.
Yeah, I know.
Excuse me, especially for talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm getting tired and yawning. Especially for that poor character who had addiction problems. She's trying to be a badass and confront her fears, and then she still gets killed. It's like, wow, and you know what? That is a problem with a lot of remakes, is they make these characters that you just hate and you want to see die. And it's like, no, it's not memorable watching the character we hate get murdered unless it's like hilarious. It's shocking and stands out more when we watch a character die that we didn't want to die.
Right, exactly.
Like Taryn, you didn't want to see her die, did you?
I didn't want to see her go. But I knew when I saw that alleyway, I was like, fuck. This is that movie.
You're like, I'm back.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the difference of the way Freddy was in this compared to 1 and 2? Because, I mean, this was a hell of a leap in difference from 2 to even this.
Campier. A lot more
fun.
A lot more fun. It's like, I like that one line. It says, "This is your big break on TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch." Like,
poor Jennifer. What a way to go. Head smashed into a TV.
I'll be real with you. Like, I seen Robert Englund, like, without, like, the Freddy makeup. I swear, he looks like Bono from YouTube. Like a young Bono from YouTube.
He was actually in Nightmare on Elm Street 2 without the makeup. Did you see him?
Was he the nurse?
He was the bus driver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
He will show up in another one of these movies as a nurse, though.
Yeah. I remember it was like the fourth one. Like he was a nurse, right?
It was it was either the fourth or the fifth.
Yeah. I'm sure it's one of those. Like I knew one of these movies. Like I saw him. Like, okay, that's him without makeup. Or that's him without.
I think you're right. I think it was 4. It was 4 or 5. I don't remember. One of the ones he showed up as a nurse, but another one he showed up as an actual insane person.
I haven't seen it yet.
You'll probably miss it. I'll have to point it out to you.
All right.
But no, what I like about this movie mainly is it's Heather's chance to be on the other side of things. She's experienced. She knows about Freddy. She knows how to fight him, but she can't do it the same way. He's just way too powerful in this. I mean, think about it. I mean, he's like a god in this film, isn't he?
Yeah, he is really powerful in this one compared to the other two. Because you know, like I like the concept of, oh, okay, so these all these kids were apparently like the daughters and sons of the people who burned Freddy. And I like that the black kid was like talking smack to like Freddy, and he's in like suspenders and everything. It's like, yeah, dude, I wouldn't be that confident when I'm wearing that kind of outfit.
Yeah, they were the last of the Elm Street children. They were the last group of kids left.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
so what was
okay? Honestly, like one of that I really liked. When I read one of the concepts I really liked, I really did like how we get more of the backstory of Freddy. So like the backstory of Freddy for me was like, okay, so like we have this mysterious nun, right, who says like, oh, he was born out of like rape, and he like the inmates raped this poor girl and all that, and the very
bastard son of 1,000 maniacs.
And when the doctor like at the very end of the movie, like I was such a like I went into this movie not knowing anything about Nightmare on Elm Street 3. When the doctor went into the movie and he saw that the nun was a ghost this entire time, and that not only was she a ghost, she was the mom of Freddy. I was like, oh, that was cool. That was awesome.
Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, I was so glad they did like that. Oi! Like that was a solid reveal. Like I didn't go in knowing anything about it. But like I like it. I love it. I honestly love the camera work. The doctor sees the nun like walking, and like he goes to speak to her, and he just sees the gravestone. It's like, oh, that's awesome. Like there's no need for like. That's a perfect example again of like show don't tell. Like I'm glad there was no like oh, that nun, she died so long ago, and she was apparently Freddy's mom. Like, no, it was like stuff like that. It was like, that's awesome. I really like that stuff.
Again, well done filmmaking on the part of the director of this movie was a guy named Chuck Russell. But Wes Craven also came back and worked on this one.
Yeah, and speaking of like good and speaking of like death, kind of morbid, right? But speaking of death, uh what a sad way to go. I mean, like, I was really sad honestly when Nancy Thompson died.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah, damn, because like she was honestly awesome. And when Freddy stabbed her in the stomach, I was like, okay, that's the end of her. Like I didn't expect her to die, honestly. Like, because like, she's one of the few final girls that return, right? Because usually, like after like one movie, the final girl never comes back, especially in the 13th movies. But in this one, she comes back.
Yeah, the only survivor in Friday the 13th was a character you didn't even like. Yeah. Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy. I didn't like the Tommy Jarvis story at all.
I forget, you liked him in 5, you said, right?
He was okay in 5. But again, I'll still profess it. The best Friday the 13th movie was the 7th one with the teleconnected girl.
Oh yeah, with Tina.
Yeah, Tina.
God, so many reused names in all these old horror.
Exactly, it's like I get so confused, dude. I swear.
Because they all keep using the same names.
Yeah.
Let's see what you say. Oh yeah, you said Lawrence Fishburne was in this movie. He didn't really do shit.
But it was nice. Yeah, exactly. But it was nice seeing him. Like, you know how, again, I'll put it back to like Layer Cake. You know, the first time I watched Layer Cake, I was like, you see like all these. It was nice seeing like all these actors like who are big names right now, and everyone knows their name. Like it's honestly okay. It's like it's one of like the things I get joy out of seeing actors like in smaller roles before they were big names. Like in Layer Cake, for example, where we see a young Tom Hardy, where he's just there for like 4 scenes, and he has like a maximum of 1 paragraph of lines, and that's it. Like we see him, and then like. But it's like, and now, right now, like Tom Hardy's, of course, like a very big name, right? But back then, he was like this small independent actor, or like a young Sienna Miller, or a young, or Kingsley. It's like, or a young Michael Gambon from Harry Potter. He's also there. It's like that's awesome to me. It's like it's awesome to see all these like young actors, be in this movie. Like before they were big names. And like seeing Lawrence Fishburne was like cracking up. I was like, hey, that's Lawrence. Wow, what a young Lawrence Fishburne. Or seeing Samuel L. Jackson in Goodfellas. Stuff like that. It's like, that cracks you up.
Or seeing Johnny Depp in the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Exactly.
Or seeing, what was your favorite? Seeing a young Jennifer Aniston in the first Leprechaun.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I mean, like, yeah, but in fairness, all right, I was never really a fan of Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, I did not know that.
Nah, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, she's famous for Friends, and I don't like Friends.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought Friends was one of your favorite shows of all time.
No way, dude. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that show's trash, dude.
I don't like Friends. I really don't like Friends. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry to offend the people out there, but like, okay, in fairness, we already offended you with like the Spider-Man 2 stuff.
Yeah, we already lost all our viewers back then.
Like, sorry to burst your bubble. I don't like Friends, and I just don't like the chemistry. I just feel like I like, no offense to people who like it. If you like it, hey, that's your thing. I'm not gonna diss people for what they like. That's your thing. But I never liked it. I never. If I had to pick, the only ever sitcom I watched and liked was How I Met Your Mother, and that was it. Like, I can't stand sitcoms that much, and yeah,
and you picked one I don't even like.
Yeah, exactly. I know you mentioned that you don't like that either, but like I find that that one decent enough. Like, okay, I like it, but Friends, nah, sorry. I watched a few episodes, and yes, I get why it's funny, but I don't like it that much at all.
I don't get why it's funny in the slightest.
Yeah, but like, it's like it's like funny of the week, like, oh, there's a funny scenario, and hey, they're gonna get involved in it, and like and I swear it got boring after like first 5 episodes. I was like, yeah, I'm done with the show.
Yeah, that's why I stopped watching Arrow season 4 because every
Yeah,
episode was the
right.
same
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
thing.
It's also why I stopped watching Flash season 3. It's because every the minute Barry made Flashpoint and then undid it in the first episode, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm kind of done with the show.
To hell with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Nightmare on Elm
Yeah,
Street 3.
that was so off track.
That was really. We're talking Nightmare on Elm Street. Suddenly we're talking Friends. Well, what an evolution of a conversation. But but yeah, no, this movie's cool. I like how much more powerful they made Freddy with just like the levels of fear that are going up, because like everyone in this one was terrified of him. You know what I mean? Like everyone. Like all these kids were horrified. Nancy was scared. Everyone. So it's like, I mean, he was at like the height of his powers in this movie, basically. And I thought that was really cool. The scene where they like dug up his bones and he like left the dream world and inhabited his old dead body. And he killed the dad.
Yeah. That was suck. That sucked balls, honestly. Because I like the dad. And I like.
No, I felt.
Huh?
We didn't even bring the dad up when we talked about the first movie. Wow.
Yeah, the dad was like.
The only sane character in that film.
Yeah, exactly. The only sane character in the film.
The mom was a drunk. The daughter was sleep deprived and terrified, and the dad's just like, God damn it. My daughter's insane and my ex-wife's an alcoholic. I guess this is my life.
Yeah.
And now in this one, he's the alcoholic.
Yep.
But yeah, it was sad watching him get killed, but it's like, I always gotta love some stop motion. Always. I love it. So much more fun to see than CGI.
Yeah, true.
Let's see. I thought the way they beat Freddy, I was fine with it, I guess.
I think that was fine. Like that was pretty effective. Like,
I mean, it worked, but the only problem is, and that's why I like his death in the next movie far better, is it was never really established that, like, it felt like this movie really kind of dwelled a little more on the religion aspect of things, where it was like, I get why, but at the same time, it's like, it's not revealed till later that Freddy has anything to do with like demonic or spiritual forces aside from being in the dreams. So it's like, I get that what they did stopped him. I just didn't think it was a very dramatic, because this was another one where they were like, hey, let's finish it. But I
thought it was effective because it was like,
it worked. I just didn't think it was that great, because the light pops on in the house at the end of the movie still.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you just kind of, once again, you just kind of stopped him for now.
Right, yeah.
So, anything you'd like to say about 3 that has not been said?
Nah, I'm good.
Cool. Moving on then to one that I absolutely love, The Dream Master. Now, for starters, I thought the new chick they got to play Kristen Tuesday night, I thought she was far more of a character than Patricia Arquette was.
Yeah, I agree.
And Tuesday night was way better looking too.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she was extremely cute in this film. But what sells this movie for me is one of my favorite final girls ever, Alice.
Yeah.
Now, from the way you said it earlier, it did not sound like you really agree. So, what is your thoughts on The Dream Master?
It was just okay. I like number 3 more. It's better than 2, but it's not better than 3 and 1. Because, for one, I'm a big fan of okay, if you're making a franchise, then like you have to at least put some connection. I don't like the fact that all the Dream Master kids who survived died in the next one. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, we defeated the guy, and only for them to die in the next one. It's like, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean?
I guess I wasn't the biggest fan of
I-
either Joey or Kincaid, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
I
yeah,
liked Taryn and Jennifer way better.
yeah. Okay, but it's like this. It's like this. It's like
I get what you're saying. Trust me. It was the same as when we watched Alice. Ha! From the first Friday the 13th get killed off in the first 5 minutes of Friday the 13th Part 2.
exactly. It's like, wow, you like a final Friday the 13th is like final girl is like or a final like when you have
Final
the final
group.
girl or like the final guy. Like he's supposed to live at the very end. I mean, like, I get, okay, it's not like an established trope. Like you don't have to do it, but it's like, if that's the case, then can you just make a new movie with new characters? Because it sucks that it honestly. Okay, here's why I don't like it. It honestly sucked for me to see to see uh to see the people who survived Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 just die in the next one.
I mean, it is a horror film, though.
Yeah, I get it.
No, I get it. That really does just come down to personal taste. So
Yeah, it's just a
I'm
personal.
not gonna tell you your viewpoint is wrong because it's not. It's just how you see it.
Yeah, it's like saying like I honestly thought like okay like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 like, new characters like Freddy's back. What's he gonna do? And like I saw it and I was like, oh shit, they're back. That's cool. It's like this is a new adventure, and then they die, and I was like, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah, the hard part also was since Kristen was in 3 and she was massively overshadowed by Nancy the entire time. Like I said, Kristen didn't really have a character in 3, like at all. I can't really point out any like defining traits of the character. I mean, can you?
No, I can't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like she had far more of a character in this film, and it's
I
like,
agree.
yes, while she
I'm
didn't
not
last,
disagreeing with you.
no, I wasn't asking that in a like this is why I'm right. I was asking it in a way of like, did you see something that I didn't? Maybe you could.
No. It's not
Okay,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
And
agree.
it's like, but what I like is it's like, again, this is a horror film. So it's like, while it, like I said, I liked this version of Kristen better, and it sucked watching her die. It's still a horror movie.
Yeah, I
Characters
get
can
it.
die on a whim, and she went out pretty fucking brutally. I mean, her entire bed was on fire when she was dying. It's like she burned in those flames badly, the poor thing.
I understand. Right, bring it back to topic. I understand where you're coming from. It was just my personal preference of like, it sucked to see her go. Like, even
Yeah,
if
no, it was. It really was. Because it's like if this wasn't a horror movie, obviously she would have made it. But being a horror film, it was another one of those, oh shit, even Kristen wasn't safe. I guess nobody is safe in this universe.
yeah, exactly.
But
I wasn't
they,
really covering Kristen died. It was more of Kincaid dying. So I liked him the third one. It's like and him dying here was like, oh, that sucks.
oh yeah, see, I
Yeah,
didn't really like his character, so I didn't care that I watched him die.
yeah. And it was a sad death too, because like his dog is like on top of him and it's like trying to wake him up, and he's dead. And I was like, oh wow, that sucks.
Okay, yeah, the way they sold him dying in the real world, that was sad. The way Joey went was just kind of like, okay, the little
That
pervert
was
went
fun.
out again because of tits.
That was funny. It's like, how's this for a wet dream? I was like, hey, okay. I like that.
Oh, and they just started ramping up on the one-liners.
Yeah. That was fun.
But
Well, I like Alice as the final girl. I did. She was like,
I love Alice as the final girl because this character actually had an awesome arc from beginning to end.
yeah, I agree.
She went from this squeaky, mousy, quiet little thing to getting Kristen's powers of being the Dream Master because like we saw, Joey, Kincaid, and Kristen were the last three of the Elm Street
Yeah.
children whose parents were responsible for all that shit. And now Alice unwillingly gets given these powers and becomes the doorway to more children. And because of her, some of her mistakes with these powers, just Freddy getting more powerful, she inadvertently leads so many of her friends just to the slaughter, basically. And she goes from this quiet, mousy girl who wishes she had the ambition to stand up to other people and be a stronger person, and then seeing everyone die and getting part of their traits as they pass on because of her, and at the end becoming the absolute badass who finally finds out how to defeat Freddy once and for all. I'm like, this is such an awesome character.
Yeah, and I like the fact that she absorbed all of her friends' like powers, like the karate and all that, just to defeat Freddy. It made more sense than I am all the Jedi.
Oh God.
More sense here.
Oh, that's one of the worst lines in movie history. I am all the Jedi. Ugh. Ugh. But yeah, so what is it about this film that, just because you seem kind of, lukewarm about it, what is it about it you're just not really as big a fan of it as I am?
Well, again, I said the main point is I don't like how all the kids died. Like all the kids from the last one died, and I did like Alice. I just felt like Nancy Thompson was like the Nightmare on Elm Street girl. And why I do like Alice, I felt like a hole, like there's a hole in this franchise, and like seeing her go, and I remember I watched this like back to back, so it's like seeing her go, and then seeing the next one with this Alice girl. I didn't really like feel the connection yet.
Maybe once you watch 5, you'll feel a little stronger, because Alice is the main lead in 5 also.
All right, yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so Freddy definitely starts hamming it up big time in this film. I mean, any bit of like creepiness or eeriness that was left in 3, it's gone in this. There's absolutely nothing scary about this film.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
come on,
really
people dreaming that they're turning into cockroaches and going into roach motels and getting crushed into goo. It's like, oh, this isn't scary. This is fun, but it ain't scary.
Yeah, I understand that. But yeah, I mean, like again, it was. I'm just very lukewarm about Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Again, maybe it's because, again, these are the first time I'm watching these movies, so maybe it's because I watched 4 right after 3, and I was still reeling from 3. So maybe after I watch 4 a second time, it will be better.
Maybe.
Yeah, but as of right now, I feel that it pales in comparison to. It's very mid.
See, I did think that Freddy did have the best final death, though. Like, it made the most sense.
Here, yes. I agree.
Like, I'm glad that this was the final death that they went with. And we'll talk about, obviously, next episode will be 5 and 6, and we'll talk about Freddy's existence beyond this film when we get to those. But it's like, I thought this final death made the most sense. The Dream Master finally stood up to Freddy, power matched him basically, and all the souls of the children he murdered were given the power to rip their way out of him. And Freddy was, as we saw, the glove, the sweater, and the pants just fell to the ground. Freddy was defeated, gone. The souls were gone. Alice wasn't afraid of him. Freddy was, by all accounts, the most defeated he'd ever been out of the first 4 films.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So
and this was one where it's like the whole franchise, it could have stopped here.
Yeah. I also, why is there like more?
5 might interest you. I'm not sure how you'll feel about 5. I think I know how you'll feel about 6.
All
right. And beyond that, you'll see when we get there. But Yeah, five's weird. Five's in the lower echelon, but I enjoy it because of Alice. But we'll get there.
All right.
So I'd say out of all the deaths, what was your favorite of this one? Was it any of the like massively creative over the top
The
ones?
cockroach one was one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, again, it was like it was weird, sure, but like at this point, yeah, I kind of expected it.
Mine was probably the way that poor girl Sheila went, who got all the air sucked out of her.
Oh yeah, that sucked ass.
So yeah, what I love about this movie is just overall, just the evolution of the character of Alice. Who, yeah, I mean, in most horror circles, Alice doesn't get brought up much, and I think she should. But hey, it's like we saw, obviously to you, Nancy's the much better lead, which hey, perfectly fine. It's all personal preference. It's what we prefer, and I think it's maybe because I've watched these more times than you that well, I still do enjoy Nancy. There's just something about the character of Alice, and maybe you'll feel more strong about her after you watch five. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So
So yeah, any closing thoughts on part four?
I can't wait to see what happens after this because it seemed like the end of Freddy. So I don't know.
I think the way they bring him back in five is interesting, and I'm mixed on how you're going to feel about it. You're either really going to like it or you're really going to think it's stupid. I think it's actually pretty creative, and I think at least in universe, it makes sense better than some other horror films. But we'll see what you think next week uh, when we return with part five, The Dream Child, and Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
Oh, I hear that's pretty bad.
Oh God, just wait.
Oh no.
Oh, just wait. Just wait till we get there.
Oh, my God.
So, guys, thanks for tuning in. What did you think of 3 and 4? Let us know below. Have a good night.
All right. Good night, guys.